The first neurologic injury case that we're going to talk about is blind sight. Blind sight happens when a person has a stroke in the back of the head in an area called the occipital lobe, specifically in the primary visual cortex. Now, this person, though they are blind, they do not see, can accurately identify objects in front of them. If you're like me, you might be a suspicious, skeptical kind of scientist. When I first heard about this, I thought, they're probably lying. But just take my word for it, these patients are not lying. Uh, these are not rare patients. This is a pretty common phenomenon. I'd like you to go and watch this video, the top video. I'll put a link for it in the description. Go watch, pause this, go watch it, come back. Okay, so what on earth happened? You saw our patient go down a hallway where there were obstacles, and the patient very neatly navigated around these obstacles. How did they do that? Well, see, remember, in the case of blind sight, the eyes are perfectly healthy. So light gets in and goes to the back of the brain, but this first station is injured. So it's actually the second station, but the first station in cortex is injured. However, there must be, and now we know there are, at least two visual systems. One that is relatively conscious and one that is relatively non-conscious. And later in the course, we'll talk more about these two streams of visual information. So you tell me what happened. See, I'd like to make a distinction between, let's call this patient Eric, between Eric, the patient, the man we speak with, and Eric, the biological machine. Now, they are one and the same. We just talked about monism. However, when you say, did he see the obstacles? I will ask you, what do you mean by he? He, Eric, the man we speak with, clearly didn't. Eric, the consciousness that we speak with, didn't. But Eric, the biological machine, clearly did. And as creepy as that may be, you see, this is a glimpse into the vast majority of our neural functions being out of our control. This goes beyond simple vision. I'd like to ask you to think about the last time you were angry. Did you choose to be angry? Or were you angry and then realized you were angry? See, even our emotions aren't necessarily our own. The biological machine generates these. We have the gift and curse of consciousness, where we have to make sense of what is happening. Where is this emotion coming from? And it's alarming. And in fact, I often argue that the free will illusion must be instinctual. Because even I, as I walk around the world, I'm not acutely aware that I don't have free will. In fact, I become acutely deluded that I do. It's not necessarily only in class that I think about this. I do think about this a lot, especially nowadays. There are events that are so clearly outside of our control. They highlight this lack of free will and control over one's life. Now, the next neurologic injury case that we'll talk about is even more bizarre. And it's going to be the split brain patient.